Hello guys, so in this tutorial we'll be talking about the Places API. In the last tutorial we created a section wherein we'll be able to add markers to our map from the database. So these are our markers. When we go to the database we have one table called locations. We can basically add a longitude and a latitude line, and it's basically going to show up. So these are all the markers that we have, and we implemented marker clusters in the previous tutorial. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do and go and check out my previous videos on how to create the marker clusters and create how to get markers from the database, and also how to create 3D buildings and all those stuff. So in this tutorial, we're going to actually implement the search API. So we're going to implement the places API wherein you start typing the a place name, and it gives you the autocomplete options, and then you select one of them, and then the map moves to that section. Okay, so if we search some location from here, the map is going to bring that place to the center. So that's what we're going to do in this video. The first thing we need to do is we need to implement this search bar. We need to add some code to it so that we'll be able to call it anytime we click on the search. The first thing we need to do is let's give it some ID. So let's go back to our code. To give it an ID, let's go to our index.html. Let's go to, this is the search, this is the form. So what we're going to do is type a search. So let's just say type submit search. Okay, let's give it an ID of autocomplete. So we give it an ID of autocomplete. The next thing that we need to do is grab this ID in our JavaScript. So this is our main JavaScript, right? This is our map. Now this is our main.js. Let's see. No. So let's see. This is our main.js. Yeah. This is the code that we use to collect the markers from the database and all those stuff. In order to work with the marker with the place API, we need to still keep working in the init map. So to keep working in the init map, we can just come down here. Let's come down. Let's comment and let's say create places autocomplete. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our search bar. So let's just say var search equal to, let's just say, so let's come here, let's grab it autocomplete. So we just need the name of it, and let's close it. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is create a variable called autocomplete. So we can just say let autocomplete equals to, so let's just make it small. Just let autocomplete is equal to new Google dot maps dot places dot auto complete. So we get this. The first argument we need two arguments. The first one is the ID. So we say document dot get element by ID. The element is our search element, our search variable that we just created. The next thing we need to do is we need to grab a few information. We need to tell the places API what we need to get. So first, the first thing we need to get in order to use is we need to get the geocode. So first we need to get the type of information that we need to get from the API. The first one we need is we need the geocode. So first we say type, the type of information we need. We need the geocode of the place, whichever place that we type into. And the fields that we need once we get the geocode to be able to use our Google API wisely, we need to specify a few information that we need so that we don't get billed to collect all the information that we don't need. So the first thing we need is we need to get the geometry. The geometry includes the longitudes and the latitudes of the place. The next thing we need to get is the name of the place. So the name of the place is basically what the user is going to type in. But the user might not type in the full name, all right? And the autocomplete API is going to bring out like a whole bunch of names. So we need to grab the name that is going to come up from the autocomplete instead of what the user is going to type. Next thing we need to get is we can restrict it, so you can restrict it to a specific country so that you don't get billed a lot or a lot more money than you can afford. So you can specify the country. So to do that, all you need to is component restriction. So you just say component, say component restrictions. So component restrictions, you set it to an object containing the countries that you want to restrict your information to. So we want to restrict, so let's just restrict it to the US. Now that is our autocomplete object. The next thing we need to do is we need to initialize this autocomplete to Google so that anytime the user types in something new, we can actually grab what the user is typing and process it and find all the places available. So the next thing we're going to do is let's say Google dot maps dot event. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an event. So Google the maps dot event dot add listener. Okay, so we're going to listen to the autocomplete. And remember that the autocomplete is the search input or the input HTML input is already in here. So once we grab the autocomplete, it means everything is inside. The next thing we need to do is we need to tell the Google Maps API that what event are we listening to. So we need to listen to place change. So anytime the user keeps typing, we need to keep running this code. So mostly you only need to type like 3 characters or 4 characters, and it's just going to bring some suggestions. And we create our function. So our function. So in here, this is where we get the information from the API. So right now, Google has listened to the input. It has run the autocomplete. It has returned the type. It has returned the fields that we want. So now we grab all the information that we need. So the first thing is to grab the place. So the information that we need, the information that we need are all stored inside the place object. So we need to grab the place object. So grabbing it, we say, let's say place is equal to autocomplete dot get place. All right. So get place is going to return all the details that we just requested, which is the type, the fields, the geometry, and the name. So it's going to be stored inside the get place. So we use the animation autocomplete object to grab it, and we store it inside the place variable. Next thing we need to get is get uh, latitude. Latitude is equal to the place geometry location. All right. So all these information, the geometry and the name is going to be stored inside the place. So to access it, we need to call it on the place method and grab the location from there. So what location we want? We want the latitude. So we grab the latitude, we copy and paste the same thing to get the longitude. So get longitude is equal to, so longitude, it's LNG. Great. So now let's try to console log the information to see what we have, if it's working. So console log. So let's log the entire place object. All right, so let's run our code. First, we will clear the cache because Google browsers sometimes store your previous code. So in order to run new code, you need to clear your cache. And let's open our console. Okay, so properties of undefined autocomplete. So first, let's fix this. It says autocomplete. So let's see autocomplete. So let's make this capital letter. Let's see if it's going to work. Okay, to complete Google Maps places. Is it place or places? New Google.maps.places dot autocomplete. Okay, so let's check our index.html to see if we have the places API. Okay, now you see in our Google Maps API we just have our API key and we have init map and version is weekly. So we don't have any libraries. All right, we have not added any libraries. So to add libraries, I would go to one of my codes to grab the places API. So in order to grab the places API, we need to add the places as a parameter in our URL, in our place, in our link, our script. So I'll grab one of them from here. Let's see something we have here. All right, so you see, and libraries is equal to places. All right, libraries is equal to places. So this is what we need. So we need to grab the place. So, and library is equal to places. Let's save it. So this will allow our API to add places library to our Google Maps object. Let's refresh this and let's change this back to what it was. It was autocomplete. It was small. Yeah, refresh it. All right, now we don't have any error. So let's try to search for something. Maybe let's see. Good, 6480. Nice. So you see all of our information is running. So to see everything, we're going to increase the size of this input. So let's just say width is maybe 200 pixels. That's even small. So let's double it, 400 pixels. Great. So we're gonna make it 400 pixels. So let's go back to our HTML. And inside here, we're just going to use the direct HTML to make it 400. Great. Let's use CSS to see style with pixels. All right. So now most of our information is working right now. So once we click on any of these areas, we need to get the information in the object. All right. So this is the object. So let's change it. So let's clear whatever it's in here. Let's change this to like Manhattan. We'll just say Santa Boulevard. So this is the object. So this is the array object. We have the address component. We have the geometry. The geometry is what contains our location, and our location contains our latitude, and it also contains our longitude. Great. We also have HTML attributes. We can get the icon for the place. We can get so many. We can get the name. So this is the name, Kisana Boulevard. We also have the type. It's a route. It's a road. You can get so many things, so many things from the object. So the next thing we need is to actually move the map to the place that we select. Now that we have the longitude and the latitude, the next thing we need to do is we need to move the map to the place. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say set map. So it is. So we're going to say map dot set center. Um, the first you're going to say new Google dot maps dot lat long. So we have get latitude, comma get longitude. Great. So let's run this code to see if the map is going to move to that place. So let's refresh our page. Let's refresh to our page. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to type a place, we click on it. So it did not set to the center. Let's say it cannot read properties undefined lat long. All right, so let's see how we're going to set it to the center. So let's just say let's just say map dot new Google dot maps. So let's make it maps. It's not supposed to be map. It's supposed to be maps. Let's just check this to see. So let's say over. Let's click anything. Good, and the maps goes to the center, right? So let's go to Manhattan, New York. All right. So the map automatically moves to that place. All right. But we want the map to not just move, but to move in an animation. All right. So we just say pan to. Great, great. So we see pan to. Pan to. What is it going to do? Let's refresh our page. And then let's say Kisana Boulevard again. Ooh, okay. So let's clean that. Let's say Manhattan. So so if the distance is really far, it's not going to animate unless this distance is so close. So let's just say Bronx. And I just say so. Let's come back to just say Queens. Okay, so this is not like a real location. So we just say Queens Center. We just say Queens Center. Okay. So now let's move to Arsenal Boulevard. It's really close. Let's see. Okay, so let's say because you're supposed to like animate. So because if the distance is really huge, so let's zoom out. Let's zoom out a little bit. So let's just say, let's say, what place is so close? So let's just say micro. Okay, see, it moved a little bit, but let's see. Let's try to get some place. Let's try to zoom in a little bit. And let's go back to Queens College. Okay, you see how it moved? So let's just go closer. Let's just go closer. This is where we are. Let's just go closer a bit. Let's just go closer. And let's just zoom in like this. Great. So let's say micro Center Boulevard. Okay, so let's just say seafoods. So basically, Pantu is more cooler than Set Center. Set Center is just going to jump to the place, but Pantu is just going to like smoothly or like animate to that place. So it's just going to move itself to that place in an animation, and it's really cool. So in this tutorial, we have been able to get the Directions API to work, and we're able to set center from where we once we click on an object. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. In the next tutorial, we're going to look at how we're going to put, for example, when we search McDonald's, we should be able to see all McDonald's around, right? We should be able to all the McDonald's is just supposed to show, right? That's what we're going to be looking at in the next tutorial.